Hey everybody, welcome to What's Up Wednesday. For this week's presentation, I want to talk a little bit about the image problem that safety has historically had and understand a little bit about why safety professionals are often seen as compliance-based or police-type people as opposed to helpers or influencers. And this has been an age-old debate that's gone on since well before the beginning of my career. But I remember when I worked in construction, I engaged with a number of different safety professionals early in my career. Some were very helpful. Most of those people that I'd interacted with had been firefighters. And then I dealt with a handful who had formerly been police officers and people coming from other backgrounds. Rarely did I ever encounter a safety professional who went to school or had an education to be a safety professional. That was a thing then. It's just that most of the safety professionals I interacted with either came up through the trades or out of the fire department, or in some cases, a police department. And over the last 30 years, I have interacted with thousands and thousands and thousands of safety professionals. And recently I was reminded that there are still safety pros out there who are very compliance focused and like to play gotcha and like to basically leverage their position and their strength and power to get whatever it is that they want. And it amazes me because we all know that you're not going to get very far in trying to influence the workforce when you're coming at it from a power perspective, when you're coming at it kind of playing that game of gotcha where you want to catch people doing things wrong. You're going to fire them. You're going to threaten them. It just doesn't create change. And I think most of us know that. But we need to be really aware of how we're perceived. And one of the things that I always encourage safety professionals to do is when they're new to a site or new to a specific location, we have two ears and one mouth for a reason. We need to listen twice as much as we talk. And I think the most powerful thing that we can do is observe the dynamics, get to know people, get to know people's names, understand what they're doing, observe the way that they work, and do as much collection of information as we can so we can begin to kind of build relationships. Now, granted, there's a line. If there's something that is immediately dangerous to life or health, or there's a SIF type of a serious injury fatality potential that we observe, then we have to stop that right then and there. I mean, think that's part of being a safety pro, and not just being a safety pro. Anybody should stop work if they see something that's that dangerous. But ultimately, we're not out there to start driving compliance immediately. We need to kind of get to know people. We need to build relationships. And I think that one of the challenges that some safety pros have is that there is a line. You have those safety pros that are very accommodating and kind of allow anything to slip by, and then you have those others I was talking about, those police type, who are very stern and very strict and aren't going to let anything get by. And the reality is it's great to build relationships, but there has to be a line, and that line can't be crossed because our job and our role is to protect people. Now, I know one thing that I've encouraged many of our employees over the years to do or not do is it's great to become very friendly with the crews. It's really good to build relationships, but I really discourage them going out on Friday night and drinking with the crews and partying with the crews and taking that relationship too far, because then you have a situation where people may take for granted that relationship and do things that they wouldn't otherwise. So again, there's that fine line that we always have to kind of be aware of. Finally, enforcing is a very strong approach where we're telling people what they need to do and what they can't do, instead of really coaching, which is where we're educating people. We're asking them questions, and educating isn't a one-way conversation. It's not me telling you what to do. It's often me asking you questions to find out whether or not you as a worker understand the risks that you were taking and why you were taking them, and why it would make sense not to take those risks or to do that work differently. And I think that's where the best safety pros I've ever met really excel, is they're fantastic coaches. They utilize influence versus um, power, title, to be able to drive change. And ultimately, this drives culture. Now, obviously, one person can't build a culture across a workplace. It takes basically the entire leadership team and buy-in from all the craft. But ultimately, that approach is going to go much, much further than ruling with fear, than driving change through fear. And there have been so many times over my career where I hear code words over the radio and they just know that means, hey, safety pros coming through, watch yourself. And they, the crews get really creative. And it's a good thing I don't see or hear about that as much today as 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, but it's still out there. And unfortunately, it's because there are still safety pros who are, they're wielding that stick, that power stick, that enforcement stick. So think about your approach. Think about how you can build those relationships and how you can utilize influence and coaching as opposed to a compliance-based approach. Hopefully that's helpful. We'll see you next Wednesday.